Story is breaking right this minute. President Trump has fired James Comey as the director of the FBI. White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer made the announcement just moments ago. And here to tell us what we know at this time is our own White House correspondent, John Yang. John, this hits like a bolt out of the blue. What have you learned?
It was absolutely out of the blue. It was after we were told, the White House press was told there would be no more news developments for the night. Sean Spicer walked into the briefing room, read a very brief statement saying that President Trump had fired James Comey on the recommendation of the Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, and the Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein. We're getting letters. We're slowly getting bits and pieces of the reasons why. The letters that Sessions sent the president recommending this move, and Rosenstein's memo recommending it as well. It appears to center around Comey's handling of the investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails, ironically enough. That his announcement, his holding a press conference in July, right, clearing her, but also criticizing her at the same time. Usually they don't make statements like that. Usually they just say the investigation is closed, no charges have been brought. Rosenstein said in his memo that Rosenstein does not understand Comey's refusal to accept, quote, nearly universal judgment, that he was mistaken in that.
So mistaken in not going ahead and prosecuting Hillary Clinton for what happened with her emails?
As I understand it, mistaken in going public with what they had gathered and then saying, we're not going to prosecute, rather than just saying, we're closing this investigation with no prosecution.
John, did we know that this kind of an investigation was underway at the Justice Department looking into Comey's handling of the Clinton email matter?
The irony of this is that all this criticism had been coming from the Democrats, but apparently this was being looked at within the Justice Department. Now, this is also an FBI director who is conducting an investigation into possible ties between the president's campaign and Russia. There will be, I'm sure, conspiracy theorists. I'm sure there will be allegations of were they looking for a reason to do this.
And up until now, President Trump has given every indication that he wanted James Comey to continue.
Although today, very telling, perhaps tellingly, we don't know, there was after the letter was sent, he had to clean up some of his testimony to the Senate regarding this email investigation, a separate instance. Sean Spicer was asked, does the president still have the support of the president? Sean said, I have not spoken to the president since this development. I'd be reluctant to say that now without speaking to the president first.
But John Yang, again, this story breaking just as we're sitting here this evening. It broke just 15 minutes before we went on the air at 6 o'clock Eastern, learning that from the White House, the president has fired the FBI director, James Comey. But the issue you're talking about right now, John, has to do with what James Comey said last month when he testified before a Senate hearing. And in essence, he talked about how he had handled the Clinton email matter.
And there had been questions all along in this process about whether or not the Comey still had the support of the president.
Right.
And the question was asked again today, and Sean Spicer did not give the support. Now, there's one interesting line in the president's letter to Comey firing him. He said, while I greatly appreciate you informing me on 3 separate occasions that I am not under investigation, I nevertheless concur with the judgment of the Department of Justice that you are not able to effectively lead the Bureau.
All right, John Yang, I want you to stay with us. On the phone joining us now is someone who was a huge figure in the Watergate investigation back in the early 1970s, which of course led to the resignation of then President Richard Nixon. We're joined on the phone by John Dean. He was the White House counsel then for President Nixon. John Dean, you're listening to this. What do you make of it?
Well, it's not totally surprising. I was actually brooding about it at lunch and wondering how Comey was going to deal with the screw-up on his testimony. I thought, for the sake of the Bureau, he might step down because he's really splashed mud all over themselves with this one.
Why did you think this might be so serious? What was it about the mistake which he made in that testimony last month that had you
Well,
questioning?
his rationale for how he's handled the Clinton investigation versus vis-a-vis the Trump investigation, where he disclosed one publicly and did not disclose the other, is the rationale has been so thin, and the differences are really so inconsequential that it made really no sense to what he was saying. So now when he gets up and bolsters his case with bogus evidence, he looks really bad. And he does not look like a director with an even hand should look. So I don't know what Sessions, I did not hear anything about what Sessions' position was, but I thought he was in trouble. I mean, that was just in the air to me.
I was going to read just briefly from a portion of the letter that was just issued by the White House by the Attorney General Jeff Sessions. He says, I have concluded a fresh start is needed at the leadership of the FBI. It's essential this Department of Justice clearly reaffirm its commitment to long-standing principles that ensure the integrity and fairness of federal investigations and prosecutions. They're clearly trying to connect their concern about James Comey with the way the Justice Department operates and the confidence the American people and, of course, the president has to have in that.
Absolutely true. It's going to be very difficult. It's not unlike post-Watergate when they had a very difficult time deciding who to select, and we had a series of federal judges who were put in there who were absolutely beyond any kind of question. Bill Webster was put in that post, if you recall, a former sitting federal district court judge who'd been a U.S. attorney in St. Louis, and followed by William Sessions, who got fired.
Exactly. John Dean, we're on the phone with John Dean, who, of course, was the White House counsel to Richard Nixon. There are going to be a number of comparisons drawn out of this. One of them, of course, the so-called Saturday Night Massacre, when President Nixon fired his attorney general and others because they wouldn't carry out his wishes in the time of Watergate. Any connection with that, or is this a completely different set of circumstances?
I think this is different, Judy. I think it doesn't have any of that kind of feel. Archibald Cox was defying the president and taking his own course of action and making a decision that was very much placing Nixon in jeopardy. So I don't think we have any similarities here.
And just refresh our memory on the role of the FBI director. This is intended to be an independent position, is it not? I'm asking to remind everyone that the FBI is conducting a critical investigation right now into any connections between the Trump campaign for president and Russian officials.
Well, it was post-Watergate that they, indeed after Hoover, that the Congress made this a 10-year appointment to give it some independence, where it could go over from one president to the next. The presidents do have the ability, if they don't have confidence in the director, to fire him, but we've not seen that very often. It has been the exception to the rule. They've tried to depoliticize the Bureau, which is the way it should be, where we have a politics-free federal investigation unit. He is subject to the reports to the Attorney General, who, of course, is a political appointee. So there is always that filter. But yet, just the weight of the Bureau itself carries its own independence. And when it has strong leadership, it is highly respected. When that leadership has not been so strong, it has been suspect. And you're absolutely right. It couldn't come at a more difficult time, given the implications of the Russian hacking and how that's going to all unravel.
And just quickly to wrap up, John Dean, your sense of what has happened here, you were saying at the outset, didn't surprise you that much, given the mistaken testimony that it turns out James Comey gave to the Congress last month.
Well, that certainly gave both, because of the delay in correcting it, you immediately knew there was a problem because Republicans had leaped on it and were using it for political purposes on bogus information, so it was going to embarrass them by undercutting them. So I just knew there was trouble, and I didn't know how far it would go, and I thought Comey himself might step away from it rather than let anyone else resolve it.
And just to refresh anyone in the audience, what we're speaking about is when Director Comey spoke before a Senate committee last month and talked about how emails were transmitted from Hillary Clinton's email, from her server to the email account of her assistant Huma Abedin, and then they were printed out by her husband, the former Congressman Anthony Weiner. John Dean, thank you very much.